Health. If no one has any questions or additions, changes, ask for a motion and we approve these minutes. Motion made by Rousey. We have support. Support. Support by Koivunen. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, approval of tonight's agenda. And Jackie, you said we don't have to add those two property sales
No,
on this
because
side?
I'll create the agreements and bring it to you like I've done with past transactions.
Okay.
For you to approve.
Okay, so we will notify the
I will.
interested parties, okay. Anybody else have any additions or changes to the agenda tonight? If not, I'll call for a motion and we approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Lillis. We have a support.
I'll support.
Support by Hadrava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We have no appointments or presentations. Does anybody from the audience wish to address the council at this time? If not, I will allow time at the end of the meeting. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is one item, approval of payroll, April 16th through the 30th. No one has any questions, call for a motion and we approve the payroll.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Hadrava. We have a support. Support by Rousey. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have no public hearings, no unfinished business. We will jump on to new business. Item number 1, resolution constitutional and business-friendly community. Did, Jack, you want to give us a little recap of that?
Sure. At the last workshop, the city council requested that we work on a resolution that talks about individual rights and them being infringed on. And the fact that Eveleth is a charter city, and because we're a charter city, our charter is our own rule of ordinances and our law. And so the city attorney worked with a sample that the mayor provided us, and I will give a quick summary if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. The 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, "No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law." And the city of Eveleth wishes to express opposition to any executive order that would restrict the constitutional rights of the citizens of Eveleth to life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or that would deny any citizen of Eveleth the equal protection of the law. And Governor Walz's emergency executive orders related to the COVID-19 pandemic have stated, nothing in this executive order is intended to encourage or allow law enforcement to transgress individual constitutional rights. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eveleth that you are hereby expressing your intent to uphold and protect the constitutional rights of the citizens of Eveleth. You declare Eveleth as a constitutional and business-friendly community. You declare your intent to oppose any infringement by executive order or any other directive on the rights of law-abiding citizens to keep their businesses open. And you hereby request relief from Governor Walz's executive orders and demands that the sole power of issuing emergency orders and implementation related to the COVID-19 pandemic be restored to individual municipalities and local government agencies. And that Eveleth is a charter city. The Eveleth City Charter, as amended, is the local constitution for the city of Eveleth and is the primary source of governing law defining the powers of government within the municipal boundaries of the city.
Anybody have any questions?
I got more.
You got more? Oh,
Yep, sorry.
okay.
The City Council of Eveleth will not direct any of the City of Eveleth's additional resources to enforce any executive order or any other directive which infringes on the rights of law-abiding citizens to keep their businesses open per the Constitution, and that the City of Eveleth will use any legal means to protect the constitutional rights of the citizens of Eveleth. Further resolved by the City Council that the City Council support the choice of all residents to continue to stay at home or the choice to move about freely within the City of Eveleth, and to support the economy of Eveleth while maintaining behaviors to preserve the health and safety of all residents. The City Council encourages all citizens to follow Minnesota Department of Health and CDC guidelines for social distancing and general contact while out in public. The City Council advises that long-term care facilities restrict visitors, regularly check healthcare workers, and residents for fever and symptoms, and limit activities within the facility to keep residents safe.
Anybody have any questions on that? If not, I'd like to call for a motion that we accept this resolution.
So moved.
Motion made by Lillis. We have a support?
Support.
Support by Koivunen. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 2, application of Eveleth Gilbert Public Schools to obtain an interim use permit to conduct business activities associated with a public elementary school to be constructed on property located in the M3 zoning district. Tony, are you here to give us a little update on that, or
I certainly can.
you want to do that for us?
Good evening, good afternoon, Mayor and Councilors. Tony Jeffries, Contract Zoning Administrator. The matter before you today is for the new Eveleth Gilbert Elementary School. In the reconstruction of our zoning ordinance a few years ago, there are certainly some uses which are permissible and others which are what we consider to be permissible only under the issuance of an interim use permit. The area being contemplated, the property area being contemplated for the school is formerly the Ida district, which was created as Progress Park some decades ago. And as time has gone on, there have been some social changes to the scope and the shape of that neighborhood. Nevertheless, it is an M3 light industrial zoning district up in that area. The most recent and current zoning ordinance for the city of Eveleth considers schools, private or parochial, to be allowed as an interim use, not just as a permissive use in an M3 district. That's why the matter is before you today for the issuance, possibly, of an interim use permit. So consistent with statute and other local principle, a public hearing was conducted a week ago on this matter with the Planning Commission, and the results of that public hearing were that there was a virtual participation by 2 of the project architects and no other input from any of the residency or citizenry, either verbal or in writing. At that time of the public hearing, I presented an analysis to the Planning Commission, who, upon consultation later, agreed with the analysis, voted unanimously on a 4-0 vote that the interim use permit application meets all the required provisions of our current zoning ordinance, and they concurred with the staff analysis and recommend now to the City Council that the city approve this application by the Eveleth Gilbert Public Schools for an interim use to conduct business activities associated with an elementary school. There have been a couple of recommendations further on the project that I need to address forward to you. And one of them is that interim use permit is recommended to be issued on a 1-year basis, on an annual basis. However, that automatically at the end of each year, it gets automatically renewed for another year. One of the criteria for interim use is that a definite activity has to be identified in order for a permit to be granted or for it to not continue to exist. And we do feel that this activity can be stated with certainty. The activity is, it is a school. As long as it will be and will remain a school, it's recommended that the interim use permit be automatically renewed annually. Also, there is a provision in our ordinance that say that if there's not substantial progress toward the use of a property through an interim use permit for what the specific example is, that the permit becomes null and void. In this instance, the Planning Commission recommends that any progress in construction and or site development be considered as activities related to the use being proposed. Definitely the construction will take far longer than 6 months, and rather than burden the district or their project team with having to return to the council every 180 days to reapply for an extension, the Planning Commission recommends that any activities of any type of construction or further project development be considered tangible to the use, and that they don't have to obtain an extension. I'd be happy to entertain any questions or go into any items more deeply or specifically should you choose.
Anybody have any questions of Tony, or?
Just a comment, thank you very much for the diligence you and the rest of the commission put into this. We appreciate it a great deal.
Thank you, Councilor Phillips.
Big project in Eveleth, probably the biggest one we'll ever see, eh?
Yes, it is.
The only question I would have is for our Public Works Director and maybe our engineer, that there's a lot of traffic, pedestrian traffic on that road, that they posted appropriately so to warn anybody or bike riding or walking that there is construction going on and equipment going up and down that road, just from a safety aspect.
And after talking with Jackie today, she did email them to notify that they will put up the signs or gates, and they'll control any public access. And I know the police department, talking to Chief President too, he said they'll do some patrols up there and watch that.
Because there'll be some heavy truck traffic, equipment going up there. We got a couple employers up there too. So they're aware of what's going on, so their employees are a little more cognizant of their equipment and heavy stuff going by.
They'll have things posted and I believe some gates maybe will be going up.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? If not, to call for a motion that we grant this application for interim use permit under the conditions stipulated by Tony.
So moved.
Motion made by Koivunen, we have support.
Support.
Support by Rousey. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Item number 3, resignation from Joe Fisher, EMT, from the Eveleth Ambulance Service. Call for a motion that we accept Joe's resignation and send him a letter of thanks for his service on the ambulance.
Make that motion with the split, I gotta say something first, guys.
Yes.
Joe came in and he did a real good job, he was with us real long. But, talent like that doesn't last long and, hitting snapped him up. And it's the same thing with the next one, she was, we'll let her get her own fun. But yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, John, that's a good point, because it's nice for them to go to school. They can train on our department. We have a big turnover, but it's a good thing for the area. They can stay here. They don't have to go somewhere else to get the training. I think it works out pretty good.
Full-time job.
Any other additions or comments?
I'll support, Mayor.
Motion made by Rousey, support by Lillis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 4, resignation from Kaylee Fellows, EMT, from the Eveleth Ambulance Service. Same
Once
thing?
again, Keely was very enjoyable to work with, and she got Eveleth connections, her husband, he's a coach of football.
Oh,
And
okay.
stuff like that, but very good, he moved on and like I said, we finished that her up, so. And that's where it goes.
Well, evidently they got some good training up there,
Oh,
the ambulance
they
service.
love it, they
Some
love
good
it.
mentors.
And they work together, especially if you go to Virginia, they're used to each other already after 2 years, which is about the run that they have,
Mhm.
So, but it's going good, it just keeps cycling through. Another class that's just about ready to graduate now, fill the ranks.
Well, that's good. Like I say, it's nice they can train here and stay here, in the area.
And full-time jobs, give a full-time job.
Keep the young people in the area. If no one has any questions, call for motion that we accept Kaylee's resignation and send her a letter of thanks for a year's service.
I'll make it.
Motion made by Rousey. Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Support by Drava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Let's see here. Item number 5, City Council Liaison Committee for the Cemetery.
I got a phone call at home about something going on out there, and I happened to go talk to Jerry, and at the same time, Counselor Rousey was in there. And we have to make a decision out there on some stuff, and it came to we didn't have a committee for it. So I told Jerry if he could talk to Jackie to put this on, because I said I would be on it, and Counselor Rousey said he would be on it, so if we could start one. So when people have questions, it came up with somebody put a gazebo up over their family's plot. And it was put up in the middle of winter, or before Christmas. And it was left up for 6 months, and then now they were told to bring it down. Well, they didn't find it in any book that says you can and can't. And that made me figure that we better get something put together so we can answer these questions. We've had washers or water issues out there. You know, we just need a place for people to go to for it, so we figured it'd be a good thing to start one.
So you would, John, are volunteering to be the committee for that?
We would if nobody objects.
I think that we also would like to have, Gilbert, when it's very involved.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Senator.
yes, and Steph too, because
She knows way more than I do. What's going on.
she knows a lot what's going on down there. We're just kind of like the bitching posts, you know, so you gotta have it.
I'll tell you, it's important that we have some sort of regimentation. And I think that if we search out all the surrounding cemeteries and peruse what they have for rules and regulations, something that we can work out that won't bring the pitchforks and torches to the meeting.
Well, and then
Have a cemetery that we can get the lawnmowers between the headstones and stuff like that, otherwise it's.
And I'd like people to be able to come and complain about something to us rather than to Jerry or to somebody else, so that we can bring it on and meet about it and then give you a good answer, hopefully.
I'd rather have them go to Jerry.
Well, Jerry's kind of busy there, so we have compassion. Jerry just, you know, might not have as much compassion as us.
Is this a done deal then?
Well, if nobody objects, Steph, would you mind participating with, you and John? Need your technical expertise. What's going on out there?
Then I suggest that we add their phone numbers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people can call me, especially about the 4th of July. And when people come home and say, why have I sunk 4 feet? My headstone's gone, what are we gonna do? And I say, call Jerry.
You want me to rule them out of order?
Now we can call Counselor, wait a minute, Counselor Rousey, who can say, call Jerry.
Well, and all in all, then we'll just turn around and come to you guys.
Because the grass is, the grass is 10 feet deep. I mean, I've heard it all in my tenure here. So.
Well, you know, I've had some people that I fertilize for out there. I mean.
And rightfully so. They love their loved ones and
Yep.
they want to see the best we can. But again, we do the best we can with what we
Yep.
have.
And there's gotta be limits, so otherwise
Yeah.
we're gonna have a townhouse built down there.
I mean, it's,
Oh, I understand.
You know.
well, if no one has any objections of Councilors Koivunen and Rousey, will be our cemetery committee with the help of Steph. Work with them.
You need a motion, Mayor?
Well, I'll happily make that
that?
motion.
You need a motion on
Yeah,
it?
I think so, Brian.
I'll happily make that motion.
Okay.
I'm calling you.
Support.
Motion made by Hadrava, support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 6, resolution accepting donation from Central Lakes Volunteer Fire Department for a new ambulance. Well, that was nice from Central Lakes.
Yeah, we knew that money would be coming, and we just waited patiently, and we really appreciate it.
That's
And another
right.
$2,500 will be coming in March. For a total of $5,000.
That is very nice of
Very
them.
nice of them.
Very appreciated, yes.
And Stephanie will send them a thank you, so.
That's good. Then we'll call for a motion that will accept this donation from Central Lakes, and we will send them a thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Hadrava. Do you have support?
Well, no, go ahead, John.
Support by Rousey. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 7, resolution accepting donation for fire department and ambulance service from Joe and Mary Dozen. Well, a lot of people really recognize the service you provide. I'd like to call for motion that we adopt this resolution and send Joe and Mary a thank you for their donation.
So moved.
Motion made by Koivunen, do I have a support?
I'll support.
Support by Hadrava, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 8, resolution accepting donation for canine unit.
There goes the
Lois
bear
and
again.
David Ness. I'll tell you that frickin' ATM is really going, that dog.
Get more money than we do.
I heard we may be looking for a new vehicle one of these days for them, eh, Tim?
We can't get the first vehicle.
Can't get our second vehicle either.
Wow.
No,
Did
it's-
you should back up that old one up?
We should have kept that Mercedes SUV, we mightn't be using that.
We're gonna need something, yes.
Told you, we should have kept the red van with the blue door a long time ago. It's
Oh,
still
man.
running.
That is still running.
Yes, I see it in Virginia all the time.
Pop that side door, watch that dog out of there. Oh, that'd be perfect.
Oh, we let them use the old ambulance, I mean, we don't seem to be using them much. Our new one sure beats the highway.
Well, call for a motion that we accept the resolution accepting the canine donation from Lois and David Ness.
So moved.
Motion made by Lillis, do we have support?
Sport.
Support by Koivunen, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Last item under new business, proclamation for Community Action Month. Did we do this last year, or is this something new?
I don't recall it from last year, so I think it's new.
Something new, okay. Anybody have any questions? Additions? If not, to call for a motion that we adopt this proclamation.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Hadrava, do I have support?
Or
Support by Rousey, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Well, that takes care of new business. Do we have any commission reports or committee reports yet? From anybody?
Just would like to remind the public from the EDA's perspective that we still have funds available in the storefront loan program. And for the businesses that have been having some troubles of late, I guess, there might be a resource if you apply for that particular loan and qualify. It would also qualify for improvements that you make to your business as a result of the COVID-19 issue. Additionally, for the council's consumption, the EDA, or the committee of the EDA had a teleconference today to discuss some potential options for our business people that have suffered as a result of the COVID-19 issue. We hope to get a program together and submit to you for your perusal by next week, hopefully. This is going to be, or there's got to be some issues ironed out. This would be in addition to the bridge loan program. This would be a completely different program. And it would also be in addition to the storefront loan program, which currently exists. That's my report, Mayor.
Well, you said plenty there. Good stuff, Brian. Joe, you got anything?
No, not at this time.
Brad?
I got a haircut.
You gotta go to Dakota's to get one though, eh?
I did. I got it in North Dakota, I guess.
It wasn't that costly. It only took, what, 2 days?
Well, it's not as nice as Brian's, but, you know.
Brian's professional. That's years of practice, sir.
I couldn't get his wife to do it, so.
John, you got anything else to add?
2 crappies off the dock, 2 small throwback. Next week, they're gonna start coming.
I heard a lot of good fishing reports though.
That's good.
That's
really-
it, they're just starting. There wasn't that horrible wind too, so it's hard to keep But, they're just starting.
They're coming.
They're coming.
I don't know.
Stand straight.
I don't know what horrible wind you're talking about. It seems like every day.
White caps on Horseshoe.
Oh, that is a bad one.
We had white caps on our lake and it's small,
East.
but I did lose the biggest northern ever in my life.
Is that right?
It was pulling my pontoon boat around. God, it was big.
Brian, you got anything else to bring up?
No, sir.
I don't have anything really. There's enough talking with all this stuff going on we had. Jackie, you have anything?
No, I don't, thanks for asking.
Steph, you got anything? Chief?
Not tonight, Mayor.
Mitch?
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Jerry?
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Ellen, you're good too?
Just a reminder, the bids for Garfield Street are next Friday,
Oh, okay.
29th, I believe, 10 o'clock. With the bid opening.
You getting any bids in?
We'll find out on the 29th.
Oh, okay. I have nothing to bring up. Does anybody from the audience have anything to bring up at this time? If not, then I will adjourn the meeting.